Signing up for your 401k is a fantastic decision, but doing so requires that you make 5 more important decisions. I'm going to share those with you, that and more, coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, your 401k or employer-sponsored retirement plan is likely your greatest wealth building tool. Unless you own a business or have some other unique talent you're going to exploit, something like that. For most of us, your 401k, your employer-sponsored retirement plan is your greatest wealth building tool. And just a quick side note, trying to build wealth, you got to follow this formula. How much cash can you invest? How much time can you give it? And then how much risk are you comfortable taking? Those three, that quotient of those three equals how much wealth you can build. And so starting to save in your 401k, the right amount, taking the right level of risk is going to be going to make a significant impact on how much wealth you can build. So when you sign up for your 401k, there are 5 important decisions that you need to make when doing so. And doing that, making these five decisions can also influence significantly how much wealth you're going to have in the long term. The first key decision that you've got to make when you're signing up for your 401k is how much you're going to contribute. That's right, going back to that formula, how much cash, how much you're going to contribute. If you auto-enroll, they're going to contribute probably 4%, 5%, 6%, something like that. I would argue start at 15%. Start saving 15% or more. You're not going to regret it, okay? If you tell me, I can't afford that much. Okay, well, start with as much as you possibly can, and then each and every year increase that by 1%. And again, you might say, well, if I auto-enroll, it'll automatically escalate and increase 1%. I'll just put on autopilot. Don't do that, because you're going to put on autopilot a lot of other decisions that you're going to want to have under your control as well. So contribute as much as you can. I would argue 15%. A lot of other financial advisors out there say, oh, start with 10%, or between your contribution and the match, as long as it's close to 15, then you're okay. No. Start at 15%. Do as much as you possibly can, okay, and back off if you need to. But how much are you going to contribute? You're going to want to make sure you're contributing at least enough to get the full company match. And a lot of companies have a safe harbor 401k plan, meaning the match is going to be 100% of the first 3 that you contribute, and then 50% of the next 2, meaning if you do 5, the company will do 4. But that's a safe harbor plan. Lots of companies are adopting that, but your specific 401k might not have any match at all, or might have a very, very unique or different formula for determining the match. So you contribute as much as you can, ideally 15%, but certainly enough to get the full company match. Second big important decision you need to make when you're signing up for your 401k is the tax treatment of those contributions. Are you going to contribute pre-tax, or are you going to contribute Roth? When you contribute pre-tax, it's just that. Your contribution, whether it's your 15% or 12% or 20%, whatever you're doing, that is going in pre-tax, meaning it's a deduction right there on your W-2, and you avoid having to report the money that you contribute to your 401k doesn't land on your tax return. You don't have to report that money as income on your tax return. All of that money then is pre-tax inside your 401k. It's invested and growing, compounding. And then out there in the future, when you retire and you withdraw those pre-tax dollars, that's when you report them on your tax return. Both the amount you contributed and all the growth is reported on your tax return at that time when you withdraw those dollars. The Roth is the exact opposite. When you contribute via the Roth side of your 401k, you don't get a tax deduction on those dollars. So if you make 50 grand and you contribute 5 grand into your 401k, you still are going to have to pay tax on 50 grand when you report your taxes, okay? That 5 grand that you contribute, or again, whatever it is, into your Roth 401k, that's not a tax benefit. It's not a tax deduction right now. It's still invested and growing, compound, all that sort of stuff. It's just out there in the future when you retire, The money that you contributed, you can pull out and there's no tax on that either because you never deducted it. But all the growth on those Roth dollars comes out tax-free if you're eligible. You got to be age 59 and a half, got to have an account, a Roth IRA for at least 5 years. As long as you meet that, then all those dollars would come out, all that growth would come out tax-free. So this is one of the key, most important financial decisions you're going to make in your life, but certainly one of the key 5 decisions you're going to make when you open your 401k. Do you want to contribute pre-tax or Roth? Depends on your overall financial situation. If you're younger, if you think you're in a low tax bracket today, if you think you're going to have higher income in the future, advantage Roth. But this is a comprehensive financial planning decision, one that you can't just make once and then forget about it. I encourage you, make that decision whether you should do pre-tax or Roth each and every year working with your certified financial planner. The third of the big 5 decisions that you need to make when you're opening your 401k, what to invest in. What to invest in. Kevin Korhorn actually says this is one of the most important, if not the most important, financial decision you're going to make in your life. How should you invest your dollars? How much risk are you willing to take? What's your overall asset allocation? Now, within your 401k, there's been all sorts of studies, and they've determined the fewer investment choices, the more likely people are to contribute. So most likely, when you're contributing to your 401k, you're going to have a mix of target date funds, and then just a smattering of other kind of funds that you could individually select in. Likely, you're not going to have a full, robust lineup for you to make a perfectly diversified portfolio or use different strategies. Work with your certified financial planner, see what is appropriate for you, how much risk you should be taking for your financial future and financial plan, and then which components, whether you should be using target date funds, which I've done lots of videos on those, lots of negatives with those. I prefer picking a custom mix and sort of hand selecting the investments myself. That's my preference. That's our preference. But your certified financial planner can help guide you through that process and give you a recommendation as to what investment structure, what your investment mix should be. And then speaking of that investment risk, this is the 4th big decision that you're going to make when you're signing up for your 401k is what's your rebalance schedule? Now, this one likely flies, under the radar for most folks, and that is how frequently do you want to snap that investment mix back into its original alignment, okay? Say, for example, if the right mix for you is 80% in the stock market and 20% in the bond market, and of course it should be diversified from there. Well, if the stock market does fantastic, well, then that 80% is going to start becoming a bigger and bigger portion of your overall allocation. And maybe as soon as 85% of your total portfolio is now in stocks because they've performed so well, and bonds have shrunk from 20% to 15% because they've performed poorly. When do you ever snap that back to alignment and says, no, let's get that back to 80-20? And you might say, well, no, if stocks are doing well, let that ride. Well, what about the opposite? What about the opposite? And that's a better illustration of the strategy here. What about those unique times that happen every 4, every 5 years where stock market drops significantly? And so normally, unlike 2022, normally bonds tend to hold up at that time. And so if you originally wanted 80% in the stock market, what if it shrunk to just 75% and your bond allocation went from 20 to 25%? Rebalancing and doing so on an automatic schedule allows you to shift back to that original allocation. And in doing so, you sell some of your winners and you buy some of the losers, or some of the ones that are temporarily haven't done as well. This mechanism allows you to automatically and unemotionally sell some investments when they've been riding high and buy into some investments after they've, maybe dropped low, right? In doing so, buying low, selling high. Buying low, selling high. That's how you make money in investing, and therefore having the right rebalance schedule allows you to do that automatically and unemotionally. I recommend doing it quarterly, but you could certainly set it up to do semi-annual or even annual as well. All the data shows that as long as you're doing a rebalance at least annually, that should set you up and make a significant difference over the long term in your overall portfolio. And then the 5th and final important decision that you have to make when you're opening your 401k, that is, who's your beneficiary? Who's your beneficiary? This is a decision that you've got to make when you're opening your 401k, because if you pass away suddenly or unexpectedly, or If you simply hold this account for a long time and then pass away out there in the future, who gets this money? That's an important financial decision. You're building up wealth. You're deferring some of your income today, investing it, stewarding these dollars that someday you can enjoy. And if you're not around, if you pass away too soon and you're not around to enjoy them, who in your family, which heirs, which organization would you want to receive these dollars? Deciding that up front via who you're going to decide, who you're going to elect as your beneficiary is one of the top 5 important decisions you've got to make when you're setting up your 401k. So here's the point, guys. When you're first starting your 401k, these are the 5 decisions that you need to make. This is why I would want you to sit down with a certified financial planner when you're opening a new 401k to make a great decision in each and every one of these 5 decisions. However, if you've had a 401k for a long time, you still need to look back and say, each of these 5 decisions, have I made the right choice or do I need to make some changes? Also, that's work that you can do and should do with your certified financial planner. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.